All right, guys, on this week's Land Beat, we're talking about unique situations that you can find yourself in. Today, specifically, we're talking about long-term screen options. All right, to provide a little context of this video, this specific portion of the property was logged much harder in years past than desired. Whole different story for another day, but essentially on the north half of this farm, there's not a lot of trees that really remain from rogue loggers. So our objective here, because of this heavily used trail, the road system on here, we wanted to provide more long-term screening options. And there's a lot of plants and options that you can go with. Native grass screens, diverse native grass plantings, like we've seen in other videos from this site. We could have gone with that, but due to the lack of tree cover that remains on this site, what we've opted to go forward with is a denser planting of a loblolly pine. These are long runs along the ridge tops to block and screen some roads, buffer some of that sound. This is a southern Ohio property, so we have a lot of topography. And so from one ridge line to the other ridge line, do the logging and do the topography, we could be seen. So opted to go with this more long-term strategy. It's gonna take some years to get there, and we're totally fine with that, but the pines are going in on 8-foot by 8-foot spacing. Could go 6 by 6 if you desire it to be a little bit denser. But essentially we're doing long, narrow runs, 3-4 foot wide along some of these roadways, and then also along property boundaries as well, from neighbors looking in. Again, weren't left with a lot of great quality trees after that logging operation, and so going in through and creating these more barrier types of tree screens is definitely what's necessary for this property. So unique situation. We want to always say, make sure you're thinking of outside the box options when it comes to these unique situations. You have to have security on a property and be able to navigate with an existing road system through the farm safely is a top priority for best case scenarios when we're talking about hunting and accessing stands. So again, long-term solution, but we feel that monoculture pine in these specific small areas is going to be what's going to provide us the most security going years and years and years into the future. A few other options that you could consider are combinations of native grasses and native shrubs. Some of those take a few years to develop as well, but they're probably gonna get there a little bit faster than planting the seedling pines. But that management strategy is a little bit different in the years to come. But we wanted something, again, we wanted something that was a tree due to the lack of them in this area, and the feasibility of producing good quality pine and growth on this site was easy, relatively flat, narrow, easy to maintain, and select for, with herbicide options, those pines to provide that long-term screen. When you get into diverse native grass plantings and the shrubs, we gotta be careful of how we're managing those, certainly with herbicides, but they also are a great option for long-term screening if you choose to go that route. But for this site, we have that in a lot of other places. We have those same exact plant communities. So we wanted some distinction, we wanted some difference in the structure and the visual screening of the farm. So again, opted to choose something a little bit different than we normally would, but it's going to provide and accomplish exactly what we're looking for.